Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with another top 5 for you. Today I'm gonna do a few of these throughout different decades. So today's top 5 is the top 5 70s exploitation films. I don't think I need to explain anything else about exploitation films because I assume that people who subscribe to my channel are at least a little bit familiar with them. So, let's get this thing started. So at number 5 we have a film, the only film on this list I don't actually own yet. I reviewed it on my channel though. It's a 70s kind of sexploitation like documentary that's really just an excuse to show like a lot of nudity and sexual content at the expense of people who are transgender or transsexual. And it is Let Me Die a Woman. Somewhat controversial because of the actual footage of a sex change operation being performed and the faked footage of a guy attempting to castrate himself. It's interesting, I'll say that much. I mean, there's a reason it's on the top 5. I mean, I've seen quite a few exploitation films. I've seen a lot of them. And a lot of them are pretty bad, actually. So that's where this list starts, is with one that's maybe worth watching once. Next on the list is probably, if you couldn't guess by the fact that it's on my top 5, it's probably one of my all-time favorite women in prison films. Also one of my all-time favorite just exploitation films in general. Elsa, She-Wolf of the SS. They need to do a new DVD release of this because this is the Korean version I have, and the Korean version is cut by like 10 minutes. So, yeah. What can I... Need to get a new case. What can I say about this one? A woman, a female Nazi commandant performs experiments on innocent women. That's it. It's just pure exploitation trash with a lot of violence and nudity and torture. And if you're a fan of exploitation films, you haven't checked this one out, I'd suggest it. Next we have probably John Waters' most infamous film, Pink Flamingos. You guys know I love this movie. I don't think I need to explain why, but I kind of give you the rundown of what the movie's about. It's basically about this woman who holds the title of filthiest person alive, and this couple wants to take the title away, claiming that they're filthier, even though really what they do isn't really filthy as much as it is just like immoral. Like, Divine eats real dog shit in this movie, and the Marbles, the opposing couple, what do? They kidnap women, have them impregnated, and then sell the babies to lesbian couples. I mean, that's pretty terrible, but that's not really filthy. Same goes for the fact that they own a bunch of pornography shops and they give money to inner city elementary school heroin pushers. I'm not making this up. This is all actually mentioned in dialogue. So, needless to say, I don't really think the Marbles are filthy as much as they are just really, really bad people. Alright. This next one, I really hate to put this at the number 2 spot and not the number 1 spot, because this is probably one of my all-time favorite films, like within my top 5 favorite films of all time. But number 1 is just so outrageous, I gotta give it the title of Best Exploitation Film of the 70s. Number 2 is Stanley Kubrick's infamous A Clockwork Orange. Based on the novel of the same name, this movie was controversial for its violence, its sexual content, and the fact that the film inspired a bunch of juvenile delinquents to go out and commit crimes. Apparently, there was even a Swedish, I think it was a Swedish girl who was raped by a guy who was dressed up as Alex the Large while singing in the rain. What to say about this movie? This is one of the greatest films ever made, and it's an exploitation film. It's my favorite Stanley Kubrick film. This is better than The Shining. I said it. Yeah. Although it is probably my all-time favorite film from the 70s, it's probably not the best, most outrageous, most ridiculous, and really just trashiest, low-brow exploitation film you can get your hands on. And at number one, what other film could I be talking about? It being very, 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 very lowbrow, violent, disgusting, trashy, and probably the baddest of tastes. It is our very own The Incredible Torture Show, also known as Sardou, Master of the Screaming Virgins, better known when it was released by Troma as Blood-Sucking Freaks. I've already mentioned this before in another video I did just the other day, or just a day or two ago, of the most overlooked splatter films, and now here I am talking about it again. Blood-Sucking Freaks is probably the most insane, over-the-top exploitation film of the 70s. Let me give you a little plot here. It's basically about a guy who does this kind of theater show of the macabre, where he murders and tortures women on stage, and everybody's like, oh, this is the, these effects are cool, they think it's fake. Kind of like in the other splatter film from the 70s, Wizard of Gore, which almost made it on the list if it wasn't for Let Me Die a Woman, because that one is just a bit more outrageous. Basically, he runs this theater of the macabre, and this film involves like cannibal girls that have been kept in cages, white slavery, drug use, torture, sadism, rape, murder. Really, it's so over the top and in bad taste and ridiculous and violent that it swings between really gross and upsetting and hard to watch to really bad. I mean, if your film says on the Blu-ray case, see the flesh-eating cannibal women, the iron tourniquet that screws your brains, the living dartboard, the orgy of screaming virgins, the strange brain surgery, and the sickness that will make you retch. If it says that on the cover, I think it's safe enough to say this is probably the most over-the-top best exploitation film of the 70s. Anyway, guys, I'm Biscuit Boo, 6ix9ine, signing off. Peace.